Well, hello. Looks like Joe's having some technical difficulties, so we'll get set up here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Joe Powell. How are you, sir?
Hey, so my wife is clicking on hers and she's not getting anything. So
Okay. Let's check the broadcast here.
check it out. That's very loud.
Okay, it's live on Facebook. Yeah, we're live on Facebook. It's probably because of the latency delay.
So yeah, totally refresh maybe and go back.
I just don't know about YouTube yet.
All right, she's up.
All right. How do you like these new graphics?
Man, that is just kind of swoopy. I like it.
I know, isn't that nice?
Swoopy. I like it.
Yeah, we got our little Dad Talk logo.
Look at that. Dad talk.
Dad Talk.
Yeah.
Get the ring lights going on here.
So I think I'm being monitored. I'm writing my book.
Uh-huh.
I'm on chapter 11 or so. And I had a guy call me today, and he's like, yes, we are ghostwriters, and we help you write books. And I'm like, ooh, whoa, that was weird. And they were like, for $65,000, we'll finish writing your book and publish it and all this. And you know what he said next?
What did he say?
He said, hello? 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 So he keeps trying to call back. I've blocked 6 numbers so far.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
So how have you been, man?
Good.
Been a day or two.
Yeah, it has been a day or two.
Yes.
I'm surviving. This has been a week, man. I'm telling you, like it has
already.
It has been a week. I need a redo.
A reset.
A reset. You know, people talk about 2020, and I'm telling you that, yeah. And I hear me out on this. You know how we talk about speaking things into existence?
Absolutely.
I think with all this negativity, all this hate, and whatever you want to put out there,
whatever's in the air or the water,
whatever is in the air or the water,
it's something bad.
That I think I think all that negativity is really just messing with some. The devil is at work, man.
The devil is at work.
We just talked. We had a conference. Was this yesterday? We talked about this.
I think no, it was the day before yesterday.
Was it the day before yesterday?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It's. I mean, yeah. I don't even.
Yeah, I went to the eye doctor last week, and he said something to the effect, because I was born with a lot of eye problems, and they've always worked on me or whatever. Anyway, my doctor's like, I don't know that we can ever get you totally to 2020 vision. I said, dude, I don't ever want to have a vision of 2020. Okay, just don't want to have it. So I don't want to ever remember this year again. So.
Speaking of, that's something most people don't know about you is your vision issues.
Wait, where are you at again? Yeah, so that's in my book. So yeah, just a quick plug before we get going today. But yeah, so I'm writing a book for those of you who may not have tuned in before. It's called Your Life Book. The tagline is "Write Your Life Book as if every day is your conclusion." And and another tagline in there is "Time has no reverse." But anyway, it starts out with my life story. It's not an all about me book really, but it starts out with my life story and how the things I had to go through when I was younger. My dreams, my passions, how I worked my way to what I wanted to do. And I'm still working toward what I want to do, as you are as well. But anyway, yeah, I was born with I guess everything that I had was extreme. It was very and extreme were the two words they used, but I had very flat feet. I can't run from here to my truck. I was born with detached retina in both eyes. Well, not necessarily detached. There was tears in both, left and right, and they were very close to detachment. Detachment would have been something really bad. They had to put a buckle in my right eye. There were holes in my left eye. It was nuts. I also was born with a cleft palate, had no roof in my mouth, which is, that's not uncommon. I mean, it usually comes with the hair lip. But being I don't have any hair, I'm just kidding. But no, I had no roof in my mouth. And so I have photos and they'll be in the book, hopefully. But I have photos of, I'm like almost, I'm a year old or so. And they had to literally lay me out on a table to feed me. I couldn't eat through my mouth for a long, long, long time. And so they literally untie this thing in my stomach, put a funnel. Right. It looked like my mom was changing my oil. And so a funnel goes into my stomach and they pour in the food. And so, and that was, they did that up until I was 36. No, I'm just kidding. But no, they did it up until I was almost 2 years old.
Right.
And so now I just swing by mom's house about every year to get an oil change. I'm kidding. But no, so yeah. And anyway, the doctors told my mom that I would never have top teeth. Okay. I would never be able to speak properly. I went through years and years and years of speech therapy. I'm sorry, speech therapy.
What'd you say? Can you say it again?
But so I was never supposed to have teeth, never supposed to be able to speak properly. I'm going to give away the book if I go any farther, but yes, there's a lot of issues there. There were dreams, hopes, and ambitions. There still are dreams, hopes, and ambitions. And then the book ends with several chapters on basically how to live your life with no regrets.
Right.
So yeah, it's Your Life Book, and by Joe Powell. And hopefully we'll have it ready by maybe March or April of next year, like totally done and published and all that good stuff. So I've got my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Now, how far in your book are you?
I'm on about I want to say like chapter 10, chapter 11. I've got an overnight gig. I have to work tonight all night long, and it just basically requires me to sit there. And so I'm going to work on a lot of it, more tonight. I find myself kind of pulling off the road periodically and just jotting notes down and things that I remember. Today I added in my first traffic stop, and it was about a page long because detailing it in words takes a little longer. But my first traffic stop was insane, and I would tell you, but I don't want to give away the book. But so about chapter 10 or 11, I know word wise, my wife keeps telling me to quit counting words, but I'm at about 12,000 words or so, and I do that because I'm trying to mentally break it down into how many pages I'm going to, a book would hold, whatever. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about that. That was one of my passions my whole life is writing.
Do you remember my first traffic stop?
To be honest,
it was with you.
Oh, I'm sure that it was, but to be honest, I don't. You'll have to. I bet I would if you refresh me.
So we were out. We were out north of Centerton. On was that 72?
Right.
And remember, I think Andy Lee was probably still right at the end of his term at that point.
Okay, yeah, so 01, maybe 02, something.
02, I think it was. And so we were out there. You were driving, and I was in shotgun, and we made a traffic stop on this elderly lady out there, and you had me go up there and do the traffic stop, and you came over the loudspeaker saying, "Hang on, let me get close to me. This is his first traffic stop." And
I remember so many stories, James.
She congratulated me on my first traffic stop. Yeah.
Did you congratulate her with sign here, or I don't remember that?
No, I gave her a warning. That was before we had to have them sign everything. Yeah.
Wow, well, I know we had some good times.
We used to play music on the PA system.
Oh, we did all kinds of stuff. I was thinking about the one. I don't know if this probably won't be in my book, so I can go ahead and tell it. And sorry, those of you watching, we always catch up on old times before we get kicked off.
That's right.
But I was on I Street in Bentonville, and I stopped this little white car, and there was a guy in the passenger seat and a lady in the driver's seat, and I let him up for I think it was speeding. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I turn around and I stop a little white station wagon looking car. And for whatever the reason, you have those that you just kind of go ahead and stay behind your door and tell them, hey, step out for me. Some you walk up to, but for whatever the reason, I got out, stood behind my door, and I'm like, ma'am, I need you to step out of the car, please. Well, the passenger door starts to open. I don't know if you remember this, but the passenger door creaks open, and I yell. I'm like, sir, close your door. And he pulls the door closed. And I'm like, ma'am, I said, driver, I need you to step out. And she never opened the door. His door creaks open again. And anyway, this goes on like 3 or 4 times until he finally, I'm pissed now. Well, about the 4th time he cracks his door open, he yells back at me. He goes, can I say something, sir? And I said, what? He goes, I am the driver. It's a mail carrier's car. And I've been yelling, driver, step out. And every time he'd open his door, I'd say, close your door. Anyway, so not to make myself look too stupid, I'm like, I know that. Step over here. Anyway, so
man, we have some good stories.
We could write a book just on those.
We could. That was back when you could have fun. I mean, I guess you still have fun, but
you can have fun, but not near like we used to.
No, it was
good times.
It was. We were in a time when Super Troopers came out, and you could actually do some of the stuff.
You could actually suck down the syrup, baby. I used to just call it sucking down the syrup. That's what we were able to do those things, meow.
Do you remember? Yeah, meow. You remember when we did meow?
Oh my God. I remember meowing so many people. And one or the other of us would stand on the other side of the car counting. And this one lady, I remember the one lady in the little van, she goes, I know what you're doing now. And I'm like, okay, busted. All right, you get a break today.
Good time.
Yeah. Repeat was a good one. Repeat was a good one.
Repeat was a good one.
Yeah,
Repeat was a good one.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
So what's tonight about, James Walsh?
Oh man, I got some topics for us tonight. Communication. We're gonna kick back on communication because we left off with that.
We were on a roll.
And I do. I think it's good to. For us to catch up and have our own self-care or whatever it is, and just enjoy that type of fellowship and interaction. So,
hey, by the way, I've got to fix my lighting in here. Like you're looking like Biden and I'm looking like Trump. I don't understand. I don't understand the orange look. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's an October thing. I'll just stay orange. But
you got a ring light? I'm
sorry?
You have a ring light?
No, I need to get one. I really do. Actually, I have one on our photo booth, but too much trouble to bring it in here. I have a makeup mirror.
There you go. You just do a makeup mirror.
I didn't mean to. I mean, she has them. I mean, I could borrow it from her because it's hers, right?
That's right.
Anyway, what else? What's tonight about?
Okay, so we're going to talk about communication, conflict, posturing, and projecting.
Oh, sorry.
Posture.
I apologize.
Yes. I have no pencils in my hand.
Okay.
I do, by the way. Look at this. Watch. Look at that.
Boom.
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 Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yours is up on the boom, right?
It is. Yeah, mine's up on the boom.
See, mine's like down here.
Yours is down there.
Mine is right here. See what I mean? So if I need to tell you something in private, James, does this work?
It does work.
Or will they still hear me?
They'll still hear you, Joe.
Okay,
you have to hit mute.
Okay. Sorry.
But then I won't be able to hear you.
Just forget it. I'll tell you later.
Okay, so projecting.
Okay.
Do you know what projecting is?
Yes, sir. We do outdoor movies, and we project onto the screen that type of projection.
That's a perfect,
and it's a great example of where you're going.
Absolutely. So oftentimes we all project.
Yes.
Whether it's things that we're experiencing or feeling, or nobody's immune to it. Everybody can use projection as an opportunity for self-awareness, growth, connection, or whatever. It's the type of projection and communication that is negative or that contributes to conflict or even posturing or whatever that we have to be careful about. And
right.
So, I think if you watched any of the debates,
I tried not to.
That is a perfect example of posturing and projecting.
Absolutely. And just to throw my own little note in here, nothing has changed my mind so far with who I'm voting for. I don't think anybody's mind this time is going to be changed by way of watching debates.
No,
that's my 2 cents. Okay, move along.
Yeah, and my 2 cents in that is the debates are going to do nothing to change people's minds. What if they wanted to do that, they probably should have started on it 6 months ago.
Yeah, we're either going to be in serious trouble, or we'll be status quo or better. Yeah, that's the only 2 options we have this time. So anyway, not to get into that.
So for the listeners out there that may not understand what projecting is, I'm going to give the easiest example. So a common example of projecting would be, per se, a cheating spouse who suspects their partner of, cheating spouse who suspects their partner's being unfaithful. And so instead of them acknowledging their own infidelity, they transfer or project their behavior onto their partner. So that's a very simple, very easy to understand. By the way, in the chat box, I have put up the link to our broadcast here. If anybody wants to join in, feel free to jump in or just comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear any stories, questions regarding conflict, projecting, posturing that you might have.
Not politics.
Yeah, we're not going political on this. And so, any comments that you might have, or if you want to join in on this, please let us know. Again, I've put up the link on the chat box. You should be able to join in. So this projection, I often see this in blended families, divorced families. Most any kind of relationship setting is where one person is projecting their own insecurities or dysfunctions onto the other one. And sometimes it's very hard to recognize, very hard to understand. I'm just as guilty because I'm human as anybody else to get into my head. I've had a very stressful, very horrible week. It's there.
I felt a little bit of that.
Yeah, there's some reality that's happening. Just family issues, family drama. I recently had a family member pass away last week because of COVID. There's just a lot going on. Like I said, 2020 is a hard week, and it's easy for us to, just project those insecurities and those negative emotions that we have onto others.
Right.
So a lot of the times when we're projecting, it's due to self-defense. It's a self-defense mechanism. We're either going to fight or we're going to run away. If you freeze, you're probably going to get ate by the lion. So that, that prehistoric snake brain part of our psyche, whatever. It's there to as a defense mechanism. It's to, we use it, I guess, in a sense to protect ourselves, and going back to times where I see it is mainly in divorced households. And
I've been there twice.
Yeah. Co-parent. I have two co-parenting situations,
Yeah.
And I'll say this, that say you can't have a reasonable conversation with a unreasonable person. And there's in most cases, there's a reason why you're not with that person anymore. So, oftentimes especially in a divorce situation, when you're trying to communicate or whatever it may be, just the fact that you open your mouth or you sent a text message, because I'm not a Tolkien or poet by Shakespeare or anything. So what I type out in a text message sounds really good to me, but it might not sound good to other people.
Right.
And so and as I was saying, is that obviously you're not with that person for a certain reason. And anytime that you open your mouth or send a text message, it's always going to be looked in a certain way. And so
I have been there.
I have too.
I'm not there anymore.
You're not there.
But I've been there.
I remember when you were there.
Yes, we were friends when I was there.
Yes.
You were there.
Yes.
We were all there.
We were all there.
But we weren't all there, if you think about it.
That's right. And it's interesting is that when we're talking about communication and how projecting happens, what I see that happens is, and this is not just in relationships, this happens in the work environment when you might be trying to reach out there to give your opinion on something or your experience on something, and maybe a leader or somebody in your organization feels threatened by your experience or by just by you as a person. And so therefore
there's a fly in here.
Oh, it's on your head.
Right about there. Yeah.
Never mind. And so therefore their own insecurities, they lash out at you.
There he goes.
And what will happen is that they will try to make you feel inferior.
Oh, there he went.
To them. And so that's where we get into the posturing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, if for those that didn't watch the presidential debate and you want a hands-on instruction on what projecting and posturing looks like, I would, and this is no political opinion or pushing votes in any one direction, but again, that's a really good example. I mean, really, it is.
It is a great example.
And I'm not going to talk. I'm not talking negative about the president. He's very good at projecting and posturing, and Biden is too, in his own way. Right. Kamala Harris is. Mike Pence is. That's what they do. That's what they do. It's a manipulation tactic. They're trying to get the votes. They're trying to, get people's attention. And whatever cases, it may work for some, it may work for others. But when we're talking about in relationships, when you're trying to communicate with somebody, and maybe you're trying to have like just a real heart level communication, and that is thrown back into your face, and you're like, holy crap, what just happened?
Yeah. Well, and, especially talking about by way of email or text message, anything like that that's not verbal, boy, that can get wound up real quick. That can get misunderstood real quick. It's right there with what you're talking about. I mean, not only, might the other party at some point be already on the defensive or whatever, but then trying to communicate by text message is sometimes maybe not the best answer.
Right. Right.
You know, so.
And you know, and I'll tell you, and sometimes when I get those text messages that I know are directed to elicit a response. You know what I try not to do? Even respond.
Well, yeah, that's the best thing to do. You know, it's kind of a little on and off subject, but my wife and we both have this understanding that if it's not really even an understanding, we've never spoken about it, but if one of us answers with the letter K, they're pissed. Okay, like, you know, hey, I'm sorry about this morning. Have a great day, and you get the K, just the letter K. It's like, okay, they're pissed. They're upset. So there's these ways, like I said, there's ways that someone can come at you, and you know they're trying to get a specific reaction.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, people do that in person all the time at work and wherever. Is people try to get these specific reactions. But yeah, the absolute best thing is just to shut it off. Just
That's right.
Don't respond at all.
You know, I there you go. It does sound familiar. Scott commented that sounds familiar. You know, it does. Like, we all experience this. Like, we all experience it. We all experience that baiting technique that people, and this is not James the therapist talking right now. This is I'm just a real person talking about real communication and real issues. And here's the thing.
That's what we talk about here.
That's right. And when we're in that self-preservation mode, that we're trying to preserve ourselves, and somebody attacks us, what do we want to do? We want to fight. That's right. We want to fight back.
I just had that talk with my son the other day. You know, we just had the bully talk. Now, my son is 10. He wears an 11.5 shoe. He plays football, and he's about 180 pounds. So they're not going to pick on him, but he has some that try periodically. You know, and he's like, Dad, I want to say something back so bad. But, you know, I try to teach him. I'm like, do you know, and this sounds terrible to say it this way, but it's really the truth. You want to get back at him? Don't respond at all.
That's right.
Just walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away or laugh it off. I mean, that sounds like an old school mentality, you know, or whatever. But I don't tell him, well, go tell the teacher. I just say, you know what? Blow it off. Be like, dude, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. I've responded that way in my past with relationships. And I would simply say, look, I don't have time for this.
That's right.
And that's my final text.
That's right.
That's my final message.
Shake it off.
Shake it off, and let's move on. Let's move. You know, just real quick, I'll throw it in there. A plug for me and my wife. Man, we know how to. We've learned how to. Man, just get to the bottom of it and move the freak on.
That's right.
Because it's just not worth. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every marriage, as good as it gets, is still going to have. You're still going to have your speed bump. You know, but there's a section. Shake it off.
Sorry.
Oh, I can't do that anymore. I'm too old. But no, so that's good, James. That was good. And that was real. It just wasn't real good.
That's right.
But no, we have learned that, you know, look, there's specific things it's just not worth it. It's not worth the time. You know, there's a section in my book called It's Only Squash. And again, I won't give away my book, but that's what it talks about. That section specifically and I'll tell you this much, the It's Only Squash came from a fight my mom and dad had over squash years ago. And it's like, look, it's just squash. Are y'all really fighting for 3 days over this?
Right.
You know, and some of the stuff we argue and fight about and get into, it's not worth it. That's why I tell my son all the time, just walk away. Walk away. Goodbye. I don't have time for you.
Yeah. You know, and something that I do, and I'm not saying this is the best advice for everybody either, but this is what I do. But however, I tend to take this to the extreme, is that I pick my own battles. And because I'm not going to, there is, my family could be on Jerry Springer. I'm not joking. Like, there is so much drama. You know, I grew up wondering why my family called the Inquirer and the Star the papers because they're full of drama, and they looked at it like the weekly newspaper, and they weren't just reading or doing the crossword puzzles in there. They were reading the drama stories.
Right.
And so, for my own self-preservation, and sanity, I have to pick my battles because I'm just not going to win. Like I'm just not going to win.
Well, do you know? I'm sorry. Do you know how much? Well, obviously you probably do. Is when you choose your battles and you do walk away from things and you do shut things off. If you can leave it where it's at, right there on the table, and just leave it, man, your stress level just goes down.
Yeah.
You know how much stress you save yourself by doing that?
Yeah.
Not dealing with this today. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Done, and don't think about it again. Oh, it's hard to do, but if you can do it, man,
it is. And
you can quit taking heart pills.
And with that, you also, man, you also, and I struggle with this. I struggle with the boundaries part, man. Is because I end up
careful, Kobe.
Careful about teaching anything.
Stop. The show's over. We got to call Kobe.
I think you're right. It's about picking the battle. Picking your battle is so important. However, this is the important part, guys, and this is the stuff that I struggle with. Is not only do you have to pick your battle, but you also have to have appropriate boundaries.
Absolutely.
And if not, if you pick your battles and just let certain things go by and you don't have those good boundaries, they're going to just run straight over you. And they're just going to keep on and running.
Absolutely. So let me jump in on Kobe's question, or Kobe's statement, rather. I've been trying to teach my wife about picking the battle. Not sure so I'm going to go with what I think you're talking about there. Easy with that. I'm not sure. How long have you been married? You've been married a while? Just stick that in there if you don't mind telling me. But so I would do that. And I'll let James speak on this as well. But I would do that on a day where you're having a great day. Wait till it's a great day and say, and look, guys, it's so hard for us to do things like this, okay? But you got to do it. And this is, hey, babe, you got a sec? Sure. Come see for a sec. Come sit down for a second. And I get people going, well, we don't do that kind of thing. Let's see, 3 years and picking the battles with our 2.5-year-old. Oh. Okay. Well, let me change up just a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you talking about like literally arguing with the 2.5-year-old, like getting into it with the 2.5-year-old? Because I've got 5. I'm no professional, but I might be able. But it's the same, whether it's that or whether it's with her. You got to take a minute and say, "Hon, you got a sec?" And sit her down, tell her how much you care, and say, "Look, I'm just coming at you with this because of how much I care and how much I love you." I don't know if she's watching with you right now. She surely wouldn't from that last statement you made. But you need to sit her down and have the talk on a good day when everything is flowing right, and tell her how much you care and tell her how much you want to make all of this work, and tell her what your concerns are, and say, "Man, I want to come up with a solution to all this, but I want to do it not just because I'm telling you this is my way of thinking, but man, I want to we're parents, and so I want to put your thoughts with my thoughts, and let's sit here as a team. We came together as a team, right?" And she goes, "Well, yeah. Okay, well, then I'm not going to sit here and tell you how I want you to fix it, but can we put both of our thoughts together and come up with a solution before we get up out of our chairs tonight of how we can both help work on this situation?"
That's right.
It's something man, we don't do that, but we have to sometimes. And sometimes that's what she's waiting for, is for you to give that talk. What do you think, James?
Yeah. And so I would always, I like what Joe said when we're talking about our needs being met. We are never going to get our needs met when we're in a high stress situation.
Mm-mm.
And so
that's not the time to talk about it.
That's right. That is like having a top 10 worst conversations in your life driving 75 miles an hour down the interstate in a 4,000-pound piece of shrapnel. It's just, there's nowhere to run. And so, you know, when you're having disagreements in relationships, to me, I think it's helpful to have open-hearted conversations. Like Joe was saying, it when things are light, when things are good, you talk about what your emotional needs are. However, you're being vulnerable, and which you need some vulnerability. And so, and you also need a partner and a spouse that's mature enough to receive that vulnerability, and not use that vulnerability against you.
That will listen, be willing to listen.
That's right.
And he or she should be. I mean, should be. They signed on the dotted line. So, you
know, and when you know, your partner might be projecting on you. I have an article here, and I'm going to pick some notes from it. And it's something that actually I hadn't even read this article. I pulled it up a little bit ago, but I hadn't even read it. But when your partner's projecting, and you feel like you're being accused, you know, you feel like you're needing to defend yourself to prove your innocence. It gives a couple really good things. The first one is respectfully disengage, which Joe and I we kind of actually talked about that a minute ago about picking those battles. And it says here, often the best thing is to say something like, "This feels like it's not about me," and then lovingly avoid getting sucked in. Remember that word, lovingly avoid.
Lovingly avoid. You know, I've said this before. At the beginning, up to the middle of an argument, and I look straight at her and I say, "I love you too much for us to be going here right now.
That's right.
Let's cool down. I'm going outside, or I'm going for a drive.
That's right.
I'll be back.
That's right.
I love you.
That's right. Yeah. And me tell you the place that you don't get into an argument. You want to know?
I want to know. You've got me in suspense, James.
Your bed.
Oh, never.
You never, ever, ever get in an argument in your bed.
And you fix it before you go to sleep.
You're right. That
has
bed,
no reverse.
That bed is like sacred territory out there, and you don't ruin sacred territory.
Nope.
You know, that's the holiest of holies.
Well, I see these. I've seen. Well, I've seen. Sorry, that's my Arkansas coming back out. I saw an article the other day, and it just, I don't even remember the whole gist of the article, but it talked about, you know, the lady that turns over at night, and, you know, he thinks everything's fine. We had our little blowout. I said my piece, good night, and he goes to sleep, and she lays over there crying, facing the other way. And man, you don't know what you're doing to your relationship by way of, and I'm going man, woman here. I'm not, you know, we're obviously talking both sides, but as a man or as a woman, you don't know what you're doing to your relationship. You're chipping away at it with a big old chipper, by going to sleep and leaving something lying like that.
That's right. You've
got to fix it, or you know, I mean, there's been times where it hadn't been totally fixed, but by the time I hit the bed, it's been, I love you, sleep good, you know, something that lets her know or lets him know, whichever the case may be. Look, we're still good. This is just a disagreement.
That's right.
And I like to call them disagreements and not arguments.
That's right.
Was that your stomach?
That was mine. No.
That
was your dog. It's not mine this time.
Okay. All right.
Sound like a Malinois.
It is a Malinois. I think he just ate the cat.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And Colby, with your 2.5-year-old daughter, you know, the same thing applies. So you got to imagine that a 2.5-year-old, their ability to communicate and interact with people is very limited. While obviously that they have some words in most cases. Some kids, depending on development, you know, things, traumas or whatever, not trying to trail off in that, might have some difficulty communicating. However, a 2.5-year-old really has a hard time of communicating their needs. And they also only have 2.5 years of experience in life.
Yeah.
So they know nothing. And
Well,
so,
when you consider, what do they say, that the human brain is not fully developed until what, mid-20s?
yeah, mid-20s.
Mid-20s, and you got one 2.5.
That's right. That's
So
right.
you got to keep that in mind too.
And you know, and so picking our battles with them is very important. A lot of times, it's been my experience sometimes with kids that again, we always need to keep a distinction between discipline, punishment and correction. Discipline is not a punishment or a correction. Discipline is teaching them. I always go back to that example of the soldier standing at the position of attention. They have discipline to maintain that position of attention and only be released when told to. And so with our kids, we want to continue to teach them appropriate behaviors and mirror that appropriate behavior for them. And so if they see mommy and daddy bickering and fighting and arguing, guess what they're learning how to do? Bicker, fight, and argue.
That's one big thing that we've worked on a lot too.
Right.
Is when we argue, it's, hey, let's go to the bedroom for a second.
Yeah.
Hey, give us a minute, and we close the door. We talk low, and we handle business.
That's right.
Man, that goes miles. I remember staying at my friend's house back when I was a little bitty kid, and his mom and dad fought, like, physically. Things thrown around the house, punched each other. I mean, stuff just unbelievable. And I can only imagine my buddy and the memories that he has now. And we're just not going to have that. It's just not going to happen, So. Thank you for the interaction there, Kobe.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, keep this up. This is kind of what Joe and I have been looking for is to have this interaction. And again, we the link is in the chat box. I can throw it up there again if anybody'd like. We're more than welcome to have people on here that would like to join in us or join in with the conversation.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, moving on. So something else that I wanted to talk here was the second bullet point about projecting, and it says, for number 2, don't explain, defend, argue, teach, analyze, counterattack, or criticize. If you do, your partner is off the hook. The only way to avoid getting tangled up in something that isn't about you and it become implicated is to keep it about them. You can express empathy for their distress, ask questions that create great awareness, such as, have you felt this way before in the past? Or I can see something's really triggered you and I'm here for you. But don't pick up what isn't yours. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Don't pick up what isn't yours.
Oh, perfect.
And so, and it also goes on to say is that you can truly become closer than ever by committing to mutual awareness of projection in your relationship. And what often happens is one person tends to really recognize that projection like it's very, very much focused towards them. And here, when it's talking about don't pick up what isn't yours, don't be somebody's victim. We're not here to be somebody's victim. We can have empathy for the things that are going on with our significant other, but their junk is not necessarily yours, and we have to be.
Are you talking about your partner, like your actual partner? Okay.
Yeah, the things that are going on with them that they're projecting onto you, those are things that they have to personally work out. Now you can assist them in that, you can help them.
But I'm here to love you through it. But,
that's right. I'm here to love you through it.
Don't lay it on my head.
That's right. That's right. And something else when it talks about when we're projecting, it goes on and says, is to number 1, look within. So if I'm in my head and I'm in that mode of where I'm pushing what's actually going on with me onto somebody else, it says every time you're triggered by your partner, take a moment to look at the part of you that is just like them. Are you annoyed because your partner's lazy? Maybe your whole being would rather lie on the couch and do nothing, and you hate this about yourself. If you're honest, you will usually see some part you play. When you do, the intensity of judgment will fade. You know what? And what I like about that is because that's a personal struggle of mine. is
laying on the couch.
No, is I do look within a lot of myself, and I'm constantly looking on how I can better improve,
Sure.
how I can be a better partner, or a better father, or a better friend, or whatever it may be. And sometimes the reality is what's actually in front of you is not pretty. Michael Jackson had that song, was that Man in the Mirror? And
Sorry, it just came out.
And sometimes sometimes we need to take a really good look at what we're projecting out there into that mirror. Because as you said earlier, when I asked you if you knew about projection, and you started talking about, we were jokingly talking about the projector that you have with
movie screen.
With the movie screen. Yeah. And it's the same thing. We're projecting out there. And as I have said before, our words oftentimes, the projection of our words is one of the most powerful things.
And inflection.
That's right. Just tonight, I was triggered by words. Just tonight.
Don't let that happen, James.
I know. And it's hard. It's hard because guess what? This takes practice, people. This is not the easiest thing out there. This takes practice.
Because we're human, and as humans, we want to fight back.
That's right.
We want to defend ourselves, or whatever the case may be. But man, talking about a relationship in general, look, I've been told by a previous partner of mine, not partner, I shouldn't say that. I live in Austin. And she was a female. But anyway, she said, sometimes I like a little fight. And I would tell her, I said, I'll fight with you, but I'm not gonna hate on you, and I'm not gonna let you hate on me. Okay, we can have this heated disagreement, but we're not throwing things. We're not gonna fight, and we're not gonna degrade each other. And it was almost like laying out some ground rules before we continued. But you're right. It's very hard not to get into that, and get into that argument. But anyway, yeah.
Well, and I think there's a lot more with the psyche with that, and as far as, that, depending on what your life was like growing up, any trauma that you might have experienced, I think for me is there's that clear indication of a fear of abandonment, a fear that the next fight is going to, or the next argument or disagreement is going to lead to being abandoned, and so
like they're gone.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Julie, can you bring me my phone cord, please? Thank you. Yeah, no. So, and look, I'm guilty of, in the past, one of my things, I would actually say that and never meant it. But I would say, well, then fine, let's just go our separate ways. And I'm guilty of saying that a lot. I've said that so many times and never meant it, but it was, now looking back on it, that was to hurt.
Yeah.
It was to put her in that, oh my God, I was trying to stop the fight, and that's the only way I knew to stop it. And man, was that wrong,
and it's funny is that when we're talking about that part of relationships and splitting up or whatever it may be, it's actually harder to split up. It's hard.
Breaking up is hard to do. Is that not a song? Is that not a song?
You're gonna have to hook up the DJ machine.
Well, you were the one playing the music. So, hey, and by the way, I'm sorry, totally off subject, but the way you're doing the closed caption for the hearing impaired is absolutely phenomenal. I did not realize we were doing that.
Oh, is it on there? I didn't see it.
Yes, every word is running across there. I don't know if you can see on here, but there we go. Let's check it out.
Outstanding. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's great. I'm like reading what I'm saying. It's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Outstanding.
You're getting high tech. You're a high tech redneck.
What was I saying? Oh, breaking up's hard to do. It is more traumatic to go through that breakup and having to repair and work on things. And
Oh, yeah.
I think, and that this is my opinion, and I think it's easier. Like, you guys are together for a reason,
Right.
and just because you're together, it does not. That does not, indicate that there's not going to be any type of strife or
There's going to be
disagreements.
It's almost a guarantee. You're going to have disagreements.
That's right. And and that's the that's the thing when we're talking about relationships and projecting and posturing. Again, a lot of this is for self-preservation, and because of some trauma or something that's happened, or unmet needs, or whatever it may be, and people they get that "I'm going to get you before you get me" type attitude.
Yeah, I think that one thing that a lot of people forget is just what you're saying, the unmet needs. I think we often forget that men and women both have needs, and they have to be met.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug a book here. It's literally called His Needs, Her Needs. I read it 2 or 3 times, and it is one of the best books ever that I've read. His Needs, Her Needs. It's the name of the book. I don't know. You might look it up and tell me who the author is, but it is an amazing book, and it basically puts relationships in. It relates them to a bank account. You look beautiful today, honey. Well, you just made a deposit into her account. Mm-hmm. You argue with her today. You made a withdrawal. She goes to work, and some coworker that she wouldn't look at no matter what comes by and says, "Wow, you look great today." Guess what? He just made a deposit into her account. Yeah, there he is. That's the book. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know the author. I don't know anything. All I know is I bought the book, and I have it, and I've read it, and it is amazing. And it's a read together. You lay up in bed at night and read it together. Or you can lay up in bed during the day if you don't have a job. But it's a read together book, and it is wonderful. It is wonderful. And it also, it talks about how, it's not that it's guaranteed, but it talks about how easy infidelities can happen when needs aren't being met, even though one or the other is not intending on it at all. It's just, guess what? My needs are being met by Sally at work, whether I'm realizing it or not. And after a while, man, I'm pulling towards Sally because she's meeting it for me. Mm-hmm. And I get people say, well, I would never do that. Read the book. It's got a lot of great information.
Yeah, I'm going to put another plug out there. Let me share the screen over here. Anybody that has ever done marriage counseling with me knows that we generally go over, or at least some point, talking about this book. Getting the Love That You Want from Harwell Hendricks. It's a great book, and it talks about the effects of growing up, your parents, the codependencies, healing, growth. It's a great book. There's a workbook with it. That you can work this together. It's a great couples assignment that you can give.
That's awesome.
Getting the love that you want. It also comes into you can get an audiobook as well.
Yeah. Talking about that, what you just said, growing up and things like it made me have a kind of a flash, kind of a thought. We're kind of a product of our upbringing.
Absolutely.
I believe that wholeheartedly. Now, not always, but I think for the most part we are. And so where am I headed with this? I had a thought. So basically, well, I'll just say I had a relationship a long time ago that it seemed kind of a product of our upbringing. Wow, I sound great. But I had I was in a relationship a while back, and he was really a great guy. I'm just kidding. No, but she had been brought up in a home where it was fight. And that's all she knew. And it seemed that we were always fighting. And I was, not always, but I most of the time tried to stop it. Well, that's kind of what ended the relationship, because I wouldn't fight with her. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't give her what she's used to.
That's right. That's right.
I remember making a funny crack, and this is a funny crack, public people, but I made a funny joke to her. I thought it was funny at the time. I was like, what do you want me to do? Hit you every day? And I was just joking. And of course she didn't say yes, but my point was, are you really wanting me to fight with you to stay around? And we ended up going our separate ways, and, thank goodness we did. But I hate that I look back now and I'm like, man, it's because that's what she was used to.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is how we're brought up.
Where's Julie at?
So I think she's in the living room.
We ought to bring Julie on here and let's just get this out.
Uh-oh.
What
did you see my facial expression? I have to go to work tonight, Walls.
What is it that women want?
Oh, God, you asked the question.
What is it that women want
We've never answered
oftentimes men don't give?
Walls. We can't answer that. We're on live. She will tell you the truth. And we're on live. I want people to buy my book. Why you went there, bro?
Hey.
Yes.
Oh.
Hey,
where's she at?
Well, honey, Walls has a question. Excuse me a moment. Don't answer it. Buy my book.
Where's she at? I'm putting
I thought she was watching, and she's not coming in here. I think she's watching. She's probably like, yeah, I'm not answering that while they're live.
I'm not answering that one.
Watch this. We're gonna call her right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is a
live call, people.
Hello.
Well, hello there. You are on live on Dad Talk with James Walls and Joe Powell. Am I speaking with Julie Powell? You're not in the bathtub, are you? Okay, she came in here. Come on over here. We have a question or two.
I already answered.
Oh, you answered it.
Did she answer? Where'd she put it?
Did you put it in the?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Refresh your chat.
Was it on Facebook or YouTube?
Was it on Facebook?
I posted it in the comments.
You just put it in the comments. You need to go into the chat. Oh, it's actually in there.
Hang on.
Oh, God, don't post that. I told you.
All right.
We're going to lose the only 7 people we have.
Oh, we just went down to 6.
See, they were like, we don't want to know.
I can't hear anymore.
What did you say? What was your comment?
Affection and attention.
Affection and attention.
Okay.
There you go. Moving right along.
All right. Julie, can you hear me?
Can you hear him?
No, I can't
Okay,
hear
let me try this.
Yeah, I lost faith when you called in.
Okay. Try it again, James.
Julie, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, so affection and attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that? Affection and attention.
Yeah, what do you mean by affection and attention?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Every woman wants the attention and affection from their significant other.
So, but what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by if you said, give me affection, what should I do?
I mean, obviously, I'd want you to hold me and tell me, how much I mean to you and all that other jazzy jazz.
And attention? Is that an all the time thing? Like you?
No, I don't need clingy.
You don't get clingy?
I said I don't need clingy.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, right, though. That's you.
Oh, that's me, she said.
So basically, you just want us to be present.
Yeah. I mean, just be aware. Just kind of.
Aware. And I think that's probably the disconnect sometimes is awareness.
I mean,
I think it is.
Ask me about my day. I mean, don't talk at me and tell me about your day and then just kind of breeze over the fact that I'm not even here kind of thing.
Yeah. Julie, do you think sometimes, like in relationships, that we're so caught up in our own junk that we tend to forget about our significant others' junk as well?
You have absolutely no idea how true that is.
Yeah.
I'm going to put these back on.
I should be a therapist.
You should be a therapist. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julie.
Appreciate your 2 cents, and we'll be done here shortly. Thank you, Julie. So the key word I think she said is be aware. Did you say aware? Yeah, be aware and be there. Be there.
Be aware. Be aware and be there.
Be aware and be there. How about that?
I like that.
So, like she was saying, hey, look, don't come at me with, thank you, sweetheart. Don't come at me with, man, my day was this, my day was that, my day was this, my day was that. And then when she wants to tell me about her day, I immediately go back to, you're not hearing me. My day was this, this, this. She wants me to listen. She wants me to be there. I made a comment on one of our other shows about, something she might be showing me with her graphic design. Right. I don't get into graphic design. I mean, I think she does great work, but when she's telling me about pixels and this and that, I'm going, wow. She just wants me to be aware and be there.
Yeah.
Aware and there. That's a cool little phrase.
I like that. We just
be aware, be there.
We just coined our first dad talk phrase.
Be aware, be there.
I like that.
Thank you, by the way, Julie Powell.
Yes, thank you, Julie Powell. And by the way, if you're in what city do you live in?
Well, I'm in Round Rock.
Round Rock area. Julie Powell does graphic design. Matter of fact, if you see our logo up here for Dad Talk, Julie did that for us. She's very, very talented in graphic design. And so obviously we want to be able to throw any type of graphic design her way.
You can always go to powellparty.com. That's POWELL party.com. Go to the contact and that'll send an email to us and we can always forward it over to Julie.
Yeah. And Joe, I think that being aware sometimes, like I think we forget,
we do.
I think that we think that we're aware and we think that we're present, but we're not. We forget.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think you're totally right. We believe that, and that's another thing too that I'm guilty of. I believe that I'm doing right, and I think it's a guy thing. Well, I gave you attention. What more do you want? What kind of affection do you want?
Yeah.
Well, okay, good question, Hoss. How about we slow it down and sit her down or lay her down and say, what can I do for you? Because you know what? You are the queen of my life. And what would make you happy tonight? And then typically she says a massage, and I'm not feeling like doing that right now. Mm-hmm. But hey, every now and then you have to. You just do it. You got to make things work. One thing I didn't know for my first 10 years of marriage is I would get told you have to work at a marriage. And my constant response was, if I have to work at it, then I don't need it. If I have to work at it, then it's not. I would say these words. If I have to work for it, then maybe it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
What a lie I was telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that is a kudos to our marriage these days, is because I've learned that that's a lie. You have to work at a marriage.
Yeah.
You
have to work at any relationship. Whether that's a marriage or fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, your kids. Guys, let me tell you something. Ladies, any ladies that's listening, is that your relationship with your kids is it ebbs and flows. It changes and goes. Sometimes it's on point. Sometimes it's not. Especially if you're in a blended family or you're in a divorce situation or whatever it may be. You continually have to work at your relationship with your children. And you have to continue to work at your relationship with your partner. I don't get it right. Like I'm still learning,
same here.
I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes. It doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means that I'm human.
That's right.
And and I'm constantly trying. Like I recognize I have a lot of shortcomings. I recognize that. You know what? Sometimes I get overly stressed out, and I might not be the most pleasant person to be around. All right, meow. And and that's. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm saying that I'm human and I'm trying, and that's my commitment to my family, to my kids, to whoever I'm with. Meredith and I've been seeing each other for a while. That my commitment is to continue to do better.
I think that's. Oh, absolutely, Scott. Have you found that yet?
Scott, look at there.
What is wow?
There's nothing easy about a relationship. The key I found is find someone that is willing to work with you. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's that. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Is finding that person that is willing to work with you, and
like you meet them and go, look, I got problems, and I need somebody who will work with me.
Well, and that's what
Are you married, Scott? Are you married? I've seen his profile a couple of times, but I didn't see if he was married.
By the way, Scott gives us a lot of kudos out there. He's been spreading the word.
He hooked on since the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hooked on since the very first one, and that's awesome.
Well, let me just.
Okay, he's not married yet.
Yeah,
because I know a nice guy. I'm just kidding. I'm messing. It's an Austin thing. I keep on. Go ahead.
That was what Scott was saying is exactly something that I went through tonight, and in a situation, and I did get the reassurance that I needed, and oftentimes with ladies, I'm gonna tell you this.
Don't do it. We're gonna go down to one.
Men can be very insecure, and
don't listen to him.
Julie, you hear that? Yeah, men can be. We can be very insecure. We can.
You've opened it up. Fine.
There. And again, people, this is my opinion. I'm just putting it out there. Is that there's the perception of what a man is supposed to be, and there's a reality of what a man is. Right?
Yes.
And so oftentimes that perception over here and what reality is crosses over and gets intertwined.
Yes, and we don't realize it until we look in the mirror.
That's right. And we have people saying, well, you should be this, you should do that. Why aren't you doing this? You need to do better.
Yeah.
We have advertisements that are saying you need to look like this, you need to act like this. We got movies that display this parent over here and doing this, and then we get the conversation of why can't you be like that? And so there's a difference between perception and reality. And so what I have found is, and I touched on this a little bit ago, is my insecurity is abandonment. That is my insecurity.
You don't want to be left.
That's right. I don't I want a partner. Like I want somebody to help me because I don't know how to do it all.
Yeah.
And
you need someone who will work with you.
That's right.
Just like Scott said.
Yeah, that's right. And and I'll tell you, Joe, that's when we're talking about law enforcement work, some of the best times and best things that I ever did was sitting in a car with an FTO or having a ride along, like one of your sergeants ride along, because you had accountability.
Yes.
you had somebody else's guidance or opinion. You don't have to take that. Maybe they're giving your opinion. You don't necessarily have to take that opinion, but you can put it into your Batman belt of knowledge.
I'll consider that.
And so, or whatever it may be. I had such good conversations with Sergeant Dre. He would call me up.
Look at you.
Actually, he would call CENTCOM, and he would tell them, "Hey, if he calls you, tell him where the location is." And
that was the game he played.
He'd go out there somewhere off of 62 called
whatever
road, washed out road, and
pig's guts lane.
I know, and say you got 15 minutes, and then I'd go out there and I would find it. I won't tell you the way I did that, but we had such good conversations. This was before you could Google Map things.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that
you got a dispatcher paid off, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I had a really good county map that was about this thick. It was like an encyclopedia, but
took you longer to look it up than it did to get there.
Well, I also had another cheat. Before we were issued laptops, I had my own laptop with the GPS in it, and I spent $150 for this program, and I could put in all the locations. And it would map me, and so
it's called the Full Dre program.
Yeah, I got that.
I love playing that game.
I actually got this. Who was the part timer that passed away from cancer in his eye? He went on full time with me. Was our information deputy?
Oh, Doug Gay.
Doug Gay, yeah. Bless his heart. We miss Doug Gay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was a technology whiz, and him and I were the only two county vehicles that had GPS in them.
Wow.
Yeah, we paid for it with our own money. We had it on our own laptops and stuff. But
that's crazy.
Anyway, that guidance that we receive from others, and that guidance, and accountability. And gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now that if you don't have somebody that you're accountable to, you need to go find somebody. Like seriously. Whether that's somebody in your church or a peer that you look up to, you need to be accountable. This is a big world out here, and I'm going to tell you that it's good to have somebody help keeping you on track. And so accountability. But yeah, sorry, Scott, we kind of trailed off a little bit.
We do, but you know what? Scott hangs in there. He's a tough guy.
That's right. Yeah, nothing's easy about relationships. It's not, and nobody promised us an easy life. The Declaration of Independence talks about the pursuit of happiness. It does not guarantee happiness. It's a pursuit of happiness.
You just chase it.
That's right. We chase it and hopefully we find it. And I know several of you guys, Joe, I know Scott, you guys have really, really great, people that support you in your life. And I do too, I do too.
Well, you have to have that, and you know how I know. And I don't mean to toot my horns, but I'm very proud of my wife. I'm very proud of my relationship. But it took me a long way to get here. That's how I have a book to write. That's how I have a book to write. But now that I'm on round 3, little things, you can notice little things in your relationship that and pay attention to these things. So, for example, my wife will call me, and she'll call me for what some men may say, well, that's the dumbest. She'll call me and go, oh my gosh, I'm standing here. I just ordered a sandwich, and oh my God, this clerk misspelled my name. And I go, are you kidding me? No, how do you misspell Julie? And we giggle about it, we laugh about it. Now, I know that sounds corny, but you know what it tells me? It tells me that no matter where she's at, I'm on her mind.
That's right.
And that is what the whole call is about to me. I hear what she's saying, and I'm going to try to be there and be aware. But the biggest thing that it does for me, it lets me know that she's thinking about me no matter where she's at. And so there's little ways that you can let your significant other know that you care, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it.
That's right.
Call him, call her periodically here and there, just to say, I just want to let you know I'm thinking about you.
That's right.
Just want to let you know you're on my mind.
And also, and for any ladies out there that are watching our stream, I can honestly tell you, we're looking for feedback.
And Scott's looking for a woman, so just want to throw that out there.
No, Scott's got a really good girlfriend.
Oh, does he?
He does. Yes, he does.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So he was divorced, but now he's found her.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Ladies, if you're watching, jump in on the comments, because I would, I'm not trying to get involved in any type of battles or anything that you might have with a significant other, but when we're talking about projecting or posturing, give us some examples, or we're talking about relationship issues, because I'm going to tell you, guys want to know, really,
whether you believe it or not.
That's right. Guys want to know how to do better and how to.
And if we don't know, we won't ever know, because we just don't know. Right. And I think that's a big wall in a relationship too. Is I think a lot of times things are assumed. Mm-hmm. Well, you should have known that I needed you. You should have known that I needed some affection tonight.
That's right.
How come you didn't give me love tonight? You should have known that I'm sorry, but this is not a fantasy world. Right. I do love you, but you're going to have to tell. I don't want you to say this is the things I want you to do exactly, but you're going to have to give me something.
That's right. That's a funny thing about expectations, is that you can't have expectations if you don't tell somebody what the expectations are.
Yeah.
And that's.
I'm sorry. This reminded me of one of BJ Burney's favorite sayings, and I don't know who coined the phrase, but you can't hit the bullseye until you. How does he phrase it? Until you identify the target.
Yeah.
I mean, that puts it in a nutshell right there.
That's right. That's and it takes practice. Just because you communicate what your needs are doesn't mean that I'm going to get that right.
I don't usually.
No, and
hardly ever. I like the whisper sound. Sorry.
And it's the way that we do things is so much different than men do things just so much differently than women. And ladies, we just telling you, we want to know, we just don't. That's the reality.
We're just guys.
We're just guys.
Just guys.
We're just guys. And the majority of guys out there are really wanting to know how to do better and how to have more satisfying relationships with their significant others. That's a fact. We don't get into a relationship to
my wife wants it more satisfying. I know this. But I'm working on it.
Joe.
Sorry.
Most we just lost somebody, Joe.
There they went. No, I think that this whole thing that we're talking about, we do want to know, and I think, and to blame ladies a little bit, I think a lot of time ladies just expect us to know.
Yeah,
we don't.
Absolutely,
we really don't. And my wife, I'll just use an example. For example, she likes massages. She likes massages. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not Mr. Masseuse guy. And it's not that I don't want to. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to let her go get the next guy. But so there's something that she does want. All I can do is do my best. But you know what I think? I think that as long as I try, she's okay with that. So don't think, guys, once you learn what she wants, that you've got to be the perfectionist at it.
Yeah.
As long as she knows you're giving, you're attempting to give her what she wants. And, and I keep downing on the guys tonight, but we're men and we believe that we run the whole show and it's all about us. And man, we gotta tone it back just a little bit and make it about her. We got to make it about her.
That's right.
So.
And that's, it's like Meredith. Meredith likes massages. She often gets a massage and stuff. But
she does. And she always likes to say thank you, Joe. I'm just kidding. Don't come in here, Julie. I was joking.
Here's another thing. Just because your significant other likes massages does not mean that she wants you to give her a massage all the time. And so my brain goes, oh, she likes massages, and so I'll give a massage. Well, apparently that's not what she wants sometimes. And so, my point with that is we're trying. We're we're trying. We're not going to get it right all the time. Oh, Joe.
I called and got her a membership at this massage place. And I wouldn't have, but it was a female that answered, and I was okay with that. Till she came home and she was like, I said, well, how was it? And she goes, oh my God, it was so good. And I said, well, what was her name? And she goes, oh, it wasn't her. And I'm like, I paid for that? What was his name? It was something like Fabio or something. Don't let other people please your spouse. Let her tell you what she wants. Don't pay for it. Do it yourself. Sorry, that was my little 2 cents. See, it gets good after the first hour.
That's right. Where's BJ Burney, by the way?
Man, I talked to him today. So he just goes back and forth from his beach house back. Well, I called him and I said, are you beaching today? And he said, no, today I'm in the mountains. And I thought he was literally in the mountains, but he was Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, you're in the bumps.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, he's just chilling. Did you see that Wes Tyra wanted to get hooked up and figure out where we were? He wanted to watch. Yeah.
Where's Wes Tyra at?
So Tyra is the lieutenant. He's actually number 2 at Mayflower Police Department in Arkansas.
Way.
Yeah, he's been number 2 at Mayflower for a long. Now there's only 3.
Right.
No, just kidding. But he's number 2. He's a lieutenant at Mayflower. He's been there for a long time. Good. Yeah. Supposedly he's up for chief next go around. So.
Really?
Yes.
Standing.
That's good. Yeah.
We've wanted to have more people, jump in here and talk with us, and not just guys too. We want, again, I'll say this again, ladies, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from your opinions and your thoughts.
The more people jump in, the more substance we can throw out there.
That's right.
And the more we can learn.
That's right. Because we're here to learn too. We're just 2 dads out here trying to do the best that we can and, spread some of our knowledge around and support other people out there, men and women, that's going through this crazy world that we're all experiencing,
Yeah. Yeah, so appreciate everybody who has been on tonight. And Scott, thank you for passing the word.
Yeah.
I think Walls and I haven't talked about this yet, but I think we're going to talk maybe a little bit this week and maybe pre-plan next week's dad talk. I think it'd be a good idea to pre-plan it and maybe start really putting it out there, a few days ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And that's my fault. I got real busy and we didn't get hooked up until late in the week. And I know you had a rough week. But maybe if, maybe by Thursday or Friday of this week, have it set. Hey, let me ask this, of the 6 that are still on here, if you guys have a topic that you think would be great for us to discuss, why don't you post that real quick and give us maybe some ideas on next week's topic, and we'd be happy to see if we can merge it in there. What do you think, Walls?
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, let the people pick the topic and let's roll with it. If nobody jumps in there, then we'll definitely have some substance. We've been talking, but I just think we're going to do it a little bit earlier. I'll get the advertisement out a little bit earlier this week for next week's talk, and that way maybe we can have more people on here. And really, we're not going to grow without you guys passing it around and just telling folks. And look, I know that we. Oh, baby, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Did you see that, Wall? You see TJ's?
Yeah, just interaction with children.
Yeah, I think that is a great topic. Don't kill them before next week, but I think we can definitely put because boy, Walls, how many do you have? I have 5.
4.
Yeah, so we've got 9 kids. Wow. Pardon me, just a moment while I cry. Okay, I'm back. But we have 9 kids between us. Wow. And so, yeah, not that we're experts, like you said, but, we are 2 dads with a bunch of kids. And I think we can both jump in on that one big time. Thank you for that. Is that TJ?
TJ, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, yeah, I think we need to do it a little bit earlier, or advertise a little earlier and get next week set in stone. But again, those of you who are watching, man, please pass it around. And, even though we cut up, I think it makes it more fun. It's better than watching a stagnant show.
Yeah. And if you haven't, go over to our Facebook page at Dad Talk. Follow us there, and then share it. I'm hoping we got some pictures and stuff that we're still trying to get the page tweaked out, but we're going to start. Excuse me.
2 cops talking about tweaked out. Thank you.
Let me tell you guys a story real quick. Colby dealing with anger. Let me tell you a story. This was before cameras and patrol vehicles. I was there you go, Scott. Learning not to sweat the small things in life.
Big
time.
Yes.
Joe, do you remember that time that you were on task force and I think it was prom night up around Pea Ridge.
Okay.
And
we didn't have a moment that wasn't fun, was it?
I think it may have been me, Holland, and Alsip there, and you pulled the student over from prom, and you did the Reno 911. Step bump.
I remember.
Did we get No, we did. It's on video. It is.
We do have it on video.
Guys, do you Reno 911? You remember the step bump? We did that on the road. We actually Joe did that on the road and demonstrated it.
2 real suspects.
Yes.
Oh man. So my favorite so guys, we're winding down just a little. Obviously, my favorite was Rod Brown, who used to ride with me. And you remember Rod?
Rod Brown.
So he was the manager up at the Lynx apartment.
Oh yeah. I remember Rod. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a band. Cool guy. He was actually my ex's stepdad in a way. But anyway, he would ride with me, and he hated getting out with the microphone. He's like, man, I don't want you listening to me. And so I got to tell this just really fancy.
How much pop in a liter of soda? And we still got 6 viewers.
Give me just a minute. PJ just cracked me up. So
this doesn't take to the center of a Tootsie Pop. A 1, a 2, a 3.
3.
Oh my goodness.
Why my orange? Anyway, so Rod would get out of the car and he would leave his mic with me. And so there's no sound. You would only see him. And he walks up to this car and he leans down and he's looking in the window. And so I'm back here. I'm going to be talking into his microphone. And that's what's going to record. because he didn't want me to listen to him. So I'm like, fine. So he gets out, and he didn't know this, but he leans down, and he's talking to the lady. And as he's talking, he reaches up and he scratches, or something. I'm looking at the back of him, but he reaches up. And then she says something to him about, which I didn't hear it at the time. He tells me later, but apparently she was lost, and he points, and he says, it's right down this way, make a left. And he says, all right. And he comes back to the car. Well, she had been speeding, and she said, well, the reason why I'm speeding is I'm lost. I don't know where I'm at, whatever. He does that little scratch. He tells her, hey, get on out of here, whatever. Well, I'm back here talking for him, okay? And so when you watch the video, you hear my voice. Of course, nobody knows any different, okay? And remember, the sheriff watched this at the Christmas party. He watches Rod walk up. We hit it on the big screen, and everybody at the sheriff's office is watching. And you see Rod get out of the car and walk up, and he leans down. And as he leans down, you hear Rod say, the hell are you doing? The hell are you doing in my county? And then as you see Rod reach up and scratch, he says, you see this badge on my chest? Do you see this badge? And then when he points to give her direction, he says, now you get the hell out of this county, and don't you ever come back. And he comes back to the... Anyway, he never said that, obviously. That was my voice. But the sheriff gets halfway through that video, and I'm sitting behind him at the Christmas party, and this is Ferguson, and he actually goes, and he's looking back at me like, what the hell? Oh, it was so fun, because I spoke for Rod every traffic stop, and it was I still have videos, but they're all VHS. I've got to figure out how to get them onto the...
Oh, we have so many stories.
So many stories, yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate the tips. I think that's some good stuff to talk about. Most especially the Tootsie Roll pile. No, most especially the child discipline.
Yep.
That's a huge one, because there's so many different opinions right there.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people have different opinions, and you hear people, well, when I was a kid. Okay, well, none of us are kids right now. Our kids are kids. So now, how are we going to handle it? So.
That's right, and not only it's a hot topic because there's so many opinions, and this is a topic that people will fight over.
Oh, big time. Yeah. So, well, I am going to hop off here. I've got to go spank my child. Just kidding. But that's a great topic.
It is a good topic. Yeah. And anger, because, that's, Joe, last thing,
sure.
Dealing with anger is probably one of the biggest things that I hear from men, from teenagers, male teenagers, and adult men, is that they have a hard time working through that anger or shutting it down. Yeah.
Can I? We will respond to that next week, and we will get to that. And when my dad cleared leather, ooh, baby, and my dad did.
Sound like a 45.
Yeah, talk about how many licks does it take. It took one.
That's right.
I did that one time. So, yeah, I'm actually in agreement with you there, TJ. But we'll talk about it more next week.
Okay, so it's 8:34 on October the 13th, 2020. My oldest, by the way, a shout out to her, Madison Gregory, because she's married. She'll be turning, I believe it is 22.
Madison Gregory.
15th.
Whew.
Yeah.
Happy early birthday, Madison. Is she on with us tonight?
I don't think. I bet she's probably not on.
She just got married?
She just got married.
No, she's not.
I initiated it.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. Whew.
22.
Big boy, would it be nice to go back there again? I would like to.
Remember when she's a little bitty?
I do.
Yeah.
God, so was she at Silver Dollar City with us?
Yeah. Yes.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
I miss that place so bad.
I know.
People think I'm crazy. That is literally this time of year. Well, more toward Christmas.
Mm-hmm. That
is my absolute clear my mind getaway spot.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come up there.
Yeah. You guys, there's one, speaking of that Silver Dollar City, because that's a topic too, that I think that we ought to talk about is And we've touched this topic for a little bit on COVID-19 and self-care, because stress is so.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
You do.
When
I won't do that at the wedding, I promise.
COVID-19 has everybody so far on edge right now that it is. Sometimes I don't feel like, I don't know if I'm coming or going. I don't. Where were those comments earlier? We got
the right people tuned in.
Yeah, right at the end. Look at that, guys. Come on.
You talked about tweaking out, and now
it's just blowing up.
I think they both fired them up.
I know.
Anyway.
All right, so it's 8:36 p.m. on October the 13th, 2020. I'm James Walls with Dad Talk.
And I'm Joe Powell.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Good night, y'all.